Hello friends, welcome to State Engineering Service examination section of Winds of Change. We will cover so many questions from the civil engineering topic here from expert IES. You may contact us at windsofchange2020@gmail.com, and for the study material you can download from the link given in the description box. You can subscribe to this channel to stay updated for more videos. You may like these videos if you feel useful for you and comment for any feedback. Welcome to second video in the continuation of video top 160 questions of irrigation and hydrology. In this video we will cover question number 31 to 60. So let's start. First question, that is 31st question. A minimum of 90 cm freeboard is provided if the discharge in the canal is between 1 to 5 m3 per second, 5 to 10 m3 per second, 10 to 30 m3 per second or 30 to 150 m3 per second. If you know the value of freeboard for different ranges of discharge, then only you can answer this question. So for this you have to memorize it. The answer will be option D, that is 30 to 150 cumex. Okay, now for 30 to 150 m3 per second, freeboard is 0.9 meter, while for 10 to 30 it is 0.75 meter, for 5 to 10 it is 0.6, and for 1 to 5 it is 0.5 meter. That is the freeboard that should be provided. Okay, next question. Irrigation water having concentration of sodium ion, calcium ion and magnesium ion as 23 and 1 milliequivalent per liter respectively. This will be classified as low sodium water, medium sodium water, high sodium water or very high sodium water. Just think about it. This can be solved by the ratio, that is sodium adsorption ratio. It can be solved by sodium adsorption ratio, that is sodium ion upon under root of calcium ion plus magnesium ion divided by 2. And this sodium adsorption ratio will give the value which will be compared with this table. In this, for low sodium, medium sodium, high sodium and very high sodium, we are being provided with the range of sodium adsorption ratio. So let's find out first of all what is sodium adsorption ratio in this case. This is the sodium ion. Sodium ion is 20 under root of calcium plus magnesium. Calcium is 3 and magnesium is 1 by 2 whole raised to power 0.5. Okay, so this will be 20 upon 1.414, it will be 14.144 which will be obtained. Now we will compare it here. We will find it out. The 14 lies in the range of 10 to 18, which is medium sodium water. Okay, this is the medium sodium water. So answer will be option B, that is medium sodium water. We should memorize it. And this sodium adsorption ratio, if you want the detailed explanation of it, you can visit to the revision of irrigation engineering, which I have explained in that video properly. You can watch it from the video link given in the description box, or you can find it out at this channel only. Next question. A hydroelectric scheme operating under a head of 80 meter will be classified as low head scheme, medium head scheme, high head scheme or none of the above. So you should also know the range of it. The range is, for high head this would be 100 meter and above. Okay, if the head is 100 meter and above, then it will be high head scheme. If it is medium head, then it will be 30 to 100 meter, and if it is low head, it is less than 30 meter. So in our question it was given that it is 80 meter. 80 meter is the head, so 80 meter will come under the medium head, that is 30 meter to 100 meter. So the answer will be option B. Okay, just memorize these also, it is also important. Next question. Canal constructed for draining of water from waterlogged area are known as. We have to drain off water from waterlogged area. Then those kind of canal is called drains, inundated canal, valley canal or contour canals. Just think about it. You have to take out the water from the surface in the waterlogged area. The definition of the canal lies that they run along the ridge line. But here from the waterlogged area we have to take water, so we have to run downstream, so it will be drains. Drains will be helpful for draining of the water from waterlogged areas. Okay, next question. According to Kennedy, the critical velocity V0 in meters in a channel is the mean velocity which keeps the channel free from silting and scouring. Its value is given by, where m is the critical velocity ratio and d is the depth of the channel. Very easy question, you should know the formula of it, nothing else. This is the critical velocity and formula for the critical velocity is either 0.84 m d raised to power 0.64 or 0.55 m d raised to power 0.64 or 0.84 m d raised to power 0.54 or 0.55 m d raised to power 0.54. Just think about it. Can you recall the formula? The answer will be option B, that is 0.55 m d raised to power 0.64. Memorize it. It is the formula for critical velocity through Kennedy's theory. Okay. Next question. The main cause of meandering is presence of an excessive bed slope in river, or degradation, or the extra turbulence generated by the excess of the river sediment during flood, or none of the above. Now, causes of meandering. Just think about it. Excessive bed slope in the river can never be a cause of meandering. It will lead to the high velocity of the flow. But meandering is the process of silting and scouring, which will not occur in this one, while degradation is also similar to this one. But the extra turbulence generated by the excess of the river sediment during the flood, the sediments are mainly responsible for the meandering process. So the answer that will be correct here will be option C, that is the extra turbulence generated by the excess of the river sediment during flood, which will be the main cause of meandering. Okay, just think about it. Next question. Under the same condition, which of the following shapes of water surface will give the highest rate of evaporation? Highest rate of evaporation on the water surface. Okay, which shape will give? Flat water surface, convex water surface, concave water surface, or independent of the shape of the water surface? Just think about it. For the highest rate of evaporation, we should have maximum area of exposure. In this one, which one will be having the maximum area of exposure? Just think about it. It will be convex water surface. In the concave water surface, you can see here that area of exposure is minimum, while in the convex water surface, area of exposure will be maximum. So highest rate of evaporation will be observed in convex water surface. Okay. Next question. Unit of runoff in MKS system is, unit of runoff you have to find out, cubic meter per second, meter per second, cubic meters, or square meter. Think about it. Runoff can be explained in terms of discharge. Okay, so answer that will be correct here will be option A, that is cubic meter per second, m cube per second. Now runoff can be described as the part of the water cycle that flows over land as surface water instead of being absorbed into the groundwater or evaporating. Runoff is that water of the precipitation which does not get infiltrated into the ground or does not get evaporated. These are directly running over the land, which is called the runoff. Okay, and its unit will be m cube per second. Next question. The scour depth d of the river during flood may be calculated from the Lassie's equation. Scour depth for Lassie's equation. If you know it, you can answer it, otherwise you don't. D equal to 0.47 q upon f, d equal to 0.47 q upon f raised to power 1 by 2, or d equal to 0.47 q upon f raised to power 1 by 3, or this power is q upon f raised to power 2 by 3. Just think about it. The answer will be option C, that is 0.47 q upon f raised to power 1 by 3. Lassie's normal resound scour depth can be given by 0.473 q upon f raised to power 1 by 3. Memorize it, it is also important. And this formula can be directly asked. This is already a question from any of the previous year examination of state services. Next question. For a unique design of channel by Kennedy's theory, its breadth must only be known, its depth must only be known, its breadth and depth ratio must only be known, or all of the above. If you have solved any design problem of Kennedy theory, then you will be able to answer this question very well. The answer is its breadth to depth ratio must be known, that is B by D ratio has to be known, and rest of the thing we can assume as well as calculate. You can see here, this was an example. I have found it out at internet. In this example, discharge was given, N was given, M was given, and B by D ratio was given. These things were being assumed, and B by D ratio was given, as well as the discharge is being given. If these things are given, then you can find out easily the parameters of canal. This is the procedure. You can watch this. I am skipping it and moving further. Next question. An artesian aquifer is the one where water surface under the ground is at atmospheric pressure, or water under pressure between two impervious strata, or the water table serves as upper surface of zone of saturation, or none of the above. Just think about it. Artesian aquifer. What is artesian aquifer? There are four options. Water surface under the ground is at atmospheric pressure, which cannot be possible. If water surface is under the ground, then it will never be at atmospheric pressure. Water under pressure between two impervious strata, which is the actual definition of the artesian aquifer. Artesian aquifer is being present in between the two impervious strata. Water table serves as upper surface of zone of saturation, which is not true. So answer will be option B, that is water is under pressure between two impervious strata. This is a case of confined aquifer. You can see here, this is an impervious strata, this is an impervious strata. In between these two, this aquifer is called confined aquifer. We can extract water from confined aquifer using the well. Okay. Next question. A river is said to be of aggrading type if it builds up its bed to a certain slope, or degrading type if it cuts its bed to a certain slope, or meandering type if it flows in sinuous curve, or all of the above. Just think about it. What is the definition of aggrading and degrading type of river, or meandering type of river? The answer will be all of the above are the correct. Aggrading river type is the one in which silt is being deposited. In this one, it builds up its bed to a certain slope. And degrading type is the one in which silt is being degraded off. It means it cuts its bed to a certain slope. While in the meandering type, there will be a curve that is a sinusoidal curve will be formed. Okay, like this. So all of the above will be the correct answer here. Okay. Next question. Seepage through embankments in an earthen dam is controlled by drainage filters, relief walls, drain trenchers, or provision of downstream berms. Just think about it. In an earthen dam, how the seepage is being taken through the embankment. Can you recall it? The answer will be drain trenchers. These are the drain trenches which are provided, and it takes out, this is the embankment. Now from the embankment it takes out the water through seepage. Okay, seepage from the embankment is taken out through these drain trenches. Okay. Next question. Trap efficiency of a reservoir is a function of capacity per unit inflow, or capacity per unit outflow, or outflow upon inflow ratio, or none of the above. Just think about it. Do you know about trap efficiency? The trap efficiency is option A, that is, this is the measure of the reservoir sedimentation. How it is being measured? The investigation shows that the trap efficiency is a function of the ratio of the reservoir capacity to the total inflow. Okay, it is the ratio of capacity per unit of inflow. So option A will be the correct answer here. Trap efficiency is a function of capacity per unit of inflow. Next question. The intensity of irrigation means percentage of cultivable command area to be irrigated annually, or percentage of gross command area to be irrigated annually, or the percentage of mean of cultivable command area and gross command area to be irrigated annually, or total depth of water supplied by the number of waterings. So think about it. This last one is not the answer. Obviously it means delta, that is the total depth of water supplied by the number of watering. The answer for intensity of irrigation, what it will be? Think about it. It will be the percentage of cultivable command area to be irrigated annually. Okay, this is the land that will be cultivated upon cultivable command area. That is the intensity of irrigation. Land cultivated upon cultivable command area. It is the ratio of the cultivated land for the particular crop to the total cultivable command area. Okay, option A will be the correct answer. Next question. The amount of the irrigation water required to meet up the evapotranspiration need of the crops during its full growth is called effective rainfall, consumptive use, consumptive irrigation requirement, or net irrigation requirement. Just think about it. For the evapotranspiration need of the crop during full growth, the amount of the irrigation required will be called as consumptive irrigation requirement. Consumptive irrigation requirement is total water required through consumptive use minus effective rainfall. Okay, so these are the main amount of water which will be required to meet the evapotranspiration need of the crop during its full growth. I have explained about consumptive irrigation requirement in the video of revision of irrigation engineering. You can visit to that through the link given in the description box. Next question. The main function of the diversion headworks of a canal from a river is diversion headwork. Think about it, diversion headwork. The function of diversion headwork is to remove silt or to control floods or to store water or to raise the water level. Why diversion headwork is being provided onto a river? Think about it. Since at the diversion headwork there is a canal which is being taken out from the river. Now if the level of the water in the river is lower, that is it cannot enter into the canal directly, then we need a function that can enable the water level of the river to rise up. Now for that purpose we provide this diversion headwork to raise the water level. This is the diversion headwork which will be provided. In the diversion headwork you can see here the water is flowing from this direction, okay, and now it will get obstructed because of the presence of a weir here. Weir is provided in the transverse direction of it. Now because of this weir the water level will rise here, and through that rise in the water level we can take the excess water to the canal, to the off-taking canal. Okay, there is a canal head regulator which is provided, and this is the divide wall which is placed in the transverse direction of the weir. Okay, so this is a typical layout of the diversion headwork. Next question. The core depth for rice is 190 mm and core period is 14 days. The duty for this will be 637 hectare per m cube per second, or 837 hectare per m cube per second, or 972 hectare per m cube per second, or 1172 hectare per m cube per second. Very easy question. We know the value of the delta here, that is 190 mm, that is 19 centimeter, and the base period, that is 14 days. So we have to calculate duty. So we will apply the formula here, that is 864 B upon delta. Putting these values, we will obtain the value of duty as 636.63 hectare per m cube per second. So answer that will be correct here will be option A, that is 637 hectare per m cube per second. Okay. Next question. The consumptive use of water for a crop is measured as volume of water per unit area, or is measured as depth of water on irrigated area, or may be supplied partly by precipitation and partly by irrigation, or all of the above. Just think about it. Every detail is being given here. The consumptive use of water for a crop. For that one, all these statements will be correct. The consumptive use of water for a crop is measured as volume of water per unit area, as well as the depth of water on the irrigated area. The depth of water that will be required on the irrigated area, and measured a volume of water per unit area in terms of discharge, and it will be supplied partly by the precipitation and partly by the irrigation. Okay, so total value, this is called consumptive use, okay, or the consumptive irrigation requirement. Next question. A divide wall is provided at right angle to the axis of the weir, parallel to the axis of weir and upstream of it, parallel to the axis of weir and downstream of it, or at inclination to the axis of weir. Just think about it. We have already explained divide wall in a question previously, in which we have explained about diversion headwork. The answer will be option A, that is it is provided at right angle to the axis of weir. Let's see, in this portion this is the weir which we have already seen in a question earlier, and this is the divide wall which is provided here. So it will be provided in the transverse direction to the axis of the weir. It will be provided parallel to the direction of the river flow. Okay, and through this divide wall there are fish ladder that is being provided, and this divide wall, actually this divides two areas. First of all, this one, it will be having higher elevation and it will be having normal elevation. This area will be having normal elevation, this will be at higher elevation, because here we have to raise the level of the water. Okay, so moving to the next question. The length of the meander is the distance along the river between the tangent point of one curve to the tangent point of reverse curve, next curve of same order, or reverse curve plus the width of the river, or none of these. Just think about it. the length of the meander, it will be next curve of the same order. Okay, so length of the meander is from, let's say it is starting from this point, this one, and it is ending at this one. This total length is the meander length, which is being given here. Okay, and we can define it as, it is the distance between tangent point of one curve, this is the tangent point of one curve, to the tangent point of the next curve of same order. This one is the reverse curve. Okay, next question. V and R are the Regime mean velocity and hydraulic mean depth respectively in meter. Lassie's silt factor F is. Think about the formula for the silt factor if we know the value of V and R. Can we recall it? The answer will be option C, that is 5 by 2 V square by R. Okay, this will be F equal to 5 by 2 V square by R. Very easy question. You just have to know the formula of it. Okay, next question. The state of the soil when plants fail to extract sufficient water for their requirement is maximum saturation point, permanent wilting point, ultimate utilization point, or none of these. Think about it. Very easy question. The soil state at which plant cannot be able to obtain water, that means it will be reaching to the permanent wilting point stage. That is option B will be the correct answer. Permanent wilting point or the wilting point is defined as the minimum amount of water in the soil that the plant require not to wilt up. If the soil water content decreases to this or any lower point, a plant wilts and can no longer recover its turgidity when placed in a saturated atmosphere for 12 hours. It will be the permanent condition for the wilting of the plant. Okay, it can no longer survive. Next question. Useful soil moisture for plant growth is capillary water, gravity water, hygroscopic water, or chemical water. Think about it. Very easy question. Useful soil moisture. Gravity water, usually it seeps down and joins the water table. Hygroscopic water, which is present inside the particle of the soil, so it cannot be utilized by the plant. Chemical water is chemically attached to it, so it can also not be utilized by the plant. So answer that will be true here will be capillary water. Okay, capillary water is the useful soil moisture for plant growth. Okay, next question. A 70% index of wetness means a rain excess of 30% or rain deficiency of 30% or rain deficiency of 70% or none of the above. Just think about it. Index of wetness. The definition of index of wetness should be in our mind before answering this question. It used to determine some year as dry year or wet year. The answer will be option B, that is rain deficiency of 30%. What is index of wetness? Actual rainfall in a given year at a place upon the normal annual rainfall at that place. Okay, this is the ratio of these two. Now it gives the idea of the wetness of the year and hence it is a measure of the deficiency of the rainfall. Now a 60% index of wetness, that means there is a deficiency of 40%. Okay, and in our question it is being given the 70% index of wetness means there is a deficiency of 30%. That is option B will be the correct answer. Okay, it is being given here, you can read it out. Next question. The ratio of average load to the installed capacity of the plant whose reserve capacity is 0 will be equal to average load to the maximum capacity, average load to the maximum load of the plant. What it will be called? Load factor or plant factor or utilization factor or both A and B. Think about it. It's an easy question. It was asked somewhere in the examination of state services. I can't recall the year. Answer will be both A and B. It can be called as load factor or plant factor. Load factor is a common term which will be applied for any of the process in which it is the average of average load to the maximum load. While in a particular case that is being given here, it can be called as plant factor. It is the ratio of the average load to the installed capacity of the plant. Okay, so both A and B will be the correct answer. Next question. The useful moisture of soil is equal to its field capacity, saturation capacity, moisture content at permanent wilting point, or difference between field capacity and permanent wilting point within the root zone of the plants. Think about it, which one will be the useful moisture content of the soil? I have explained it very well in the video of revision of irrigation engineering. The answer will be option D. That is, it is the difference between field capacity and permanent wilting point within the root zone of the plant. Okay, it is also called as the available water. Next question. The uplift pressure on the roof of an inverted siphon is maximum when drain is running dry, canal is running dry, or canal is running with full supply level, or drain is running at highest flood level. Just think about it. Condition of the inverted siphon. First of all, in the inverted siphon, which will be at higher level, which will be at lower level. Now, first of all, we should know that what is inverted siphon. In the inverted siphon, whether the canal will be at upper level or drain will be at upper level. So in the inverted siphon condition, the drain will be at lower level and drain will be running under highest flood level. Okay, so the answer that will be correct here is drain is running with highest flood level, HFL. Okay, if it is running under HFL, then there will be the uplift pressure on the roof of the inverted siphon is maximum. Okay, next question. The flow mass curve is graphical representation of flow mass curve. We are talking about flow mass curve, cumulative discharge and time, discharge and percentage probability of the flow being equated or exceeded, or cumulative discharge volume and time in chronological order, or discharge and time in chronological order. Just think about it. Flow mass curve, it consists of whether it will consist of discharge or cumulative discharge. First think about it. In the flow mass curve, we will consider cumulative discharge. We do not consider the discharge only. Okay, it is the sum of the discharge for I think 24 hours or something. So only the A or C can be the correct answer. Now either cumulative discharge is time or cumulative discharge volume and time in chronological order. Just think about it. The answer that will be correct here will be option C, that is cumulative discharge volume and time in the chronological order. You can see this is the cumulative inflow or demand and this is time period, and here we calculate the volume through this graph only. Okay, so that is why option C will be the correct one in the flow mass curve. This is the flow mass curve. Okay, so here we will finish with 60th question. In the next video we will come with the question number 61 to 90. Till that, subscribe to this channel and stay updated.